Hello guys, welcome back. I'm your friend in Sexto. Today I'm gonna show you guys how can you use a Golang to make a flutter plugin. But first you have to compile your Golang code into an AAR file. How can you do that? Here's I got a link for you. And this is a post that I wrote a long time ago. So for example, if you get a package like this, what you can do is first you get the Go Mobile package. Then you use a Go Mobile package to package or compile your Golang into two files, the AAR file or the GAR file. For example, for my project, which you can find at my GitHub page, this one, Flutter discover pinnable services on local area network. For this project, I have a folder called GoFind. Inside of this folder, I got a few Golang code. For example, the scheme ports function. For this function, it will take the host and it will return you the JSON results it found. Okay, we'll use this one as an example. So what we need to do is to run the Go Mobile bound the target Android. Okay, after that you should say two files called GoFind source GAR and GoFind AAR. The two files are very important because we are going to use it. So I'm gonna call it. Okay, let me just leave it there because we got another thing to do. For this time, we'll have to create a Flutter plugin. Yeah, how can we do that? Here's another link. You're gonna get into it, and this is the Flutter official documents. Inside of here, you can use some command to create your Flutter plugin. But for me, I already have that, so I don't have to do that again. If you look carefully about your plugin, you will notice we get some files, for example, the Android folder. But to be honest, if you want to develop a Flutter plugin, you'll have to use the Android Studio. So here we go. This is my Android Studio. So I'm gonna open an existing project, and I'm going to choose the plugin folder that I have. Let's click the OK button. For now, how can you actually import your AR file? Well, you go to the Android folder, and from there you right-click and you click the show files in. Okay, you click the show in files. After that, you'll get a window like this, and from there, you're gonna create a folder called labs. And inside of that lab, you put your AAR file into this folder. Then you're gonna go to the Android and build grid. In there, you're gonna add those lines of code into this code block. And also, you're gonna add the implement function here to implement your code or AAR file. Yeah, after that, you're gonna go to the Android labs. You're gonna go to the src man and your files, and you do all those boundings. For example, the most important function here is called onMethod call, and for this method, you can return different results to the Flutter. So in this way, for example, here, let's say, I just called GoFind scheme ports function to call the Golang code. You may do not understand what I was talking about. Yeah, it's quite normal because this is a high-level video for those advanced developers. For example, if you don't know what I was talking about, you could go to the third link. And inside of the third link, he just did this guy just did a lot of work to let you know what you should do to import your AR plugin and for our case, it's a Golang packaging. Alright, after you did everything, if you go to your flutter project and you go to the let's say the lab, because for this one you also did a bounding. For example, here find all available whatever stuff, it will call the native code, and in the end it returns the results. But that's not the thing that I should care about. The thing that I should care about is that we could go to the example, and here we got a main.dart. From there, we could start to use our plugin to make some functions. And for me, it is as simple as click the F5 button to launch the APK file or to launch the Android application. And this is my application. Whenever I click the floating button, it will start to look for the Wi-Fi address, I guess. I don't know. It's just something like that. And when okay, so to be honest, what let's say the logic behind of this application is to find some services that was in serving, or yeah. And for this case, if we okay, let me say. So at the first, what I did is to get the Wi-Fi address, which is the gateway of your Wi-Fi or wireless router. Then I use that IP address and I set a, let's say, how to say that again? I don't know how to say that in English. Mask. Oh, they call it mask. So I set the mask position to 24 so that I could just do a loop for address. For example, if my address is 192.168.1.1, if I set the mask place to 24, then we'll just look for addresses from this address to 1.255. So we get a bunch of addresses between the two addresses or between two hosts. Yeah, I guess this is quite advanced usage for everyone. So so if you really don't know what I was talking about, let me just do this graphically. So if now I set the number to 24, we'll get a lot of address from this address to this address. But if I set this number to 16, then we do the calculation. We'll get a bunch of number from this one to this one. Between the two lines, we get so many different addresses. I hope you understand that. Basically, that's the functionality of my Flutter plugin. And also, I could just tell you why I use Golang as a basic layer of our program. Yeah, well, that's simply because Golang has the most performance way of doing that. For the same process, if I use Golang to do this port scanning, it will only require 3 seconds. But if we use some else programming language, for example, the Python, it will probably take half hour or more. That's something that I couldn't endure. And also, if we use Python, it's very hard to compile it to a binary file to be able to give it to the Flutter. That's almost impossible. And even if we use the Dart programming language itself, the performance issue would also be a problem. So that's why I use Golang as the common code base for this purpose. Oh, okay, I guess I just explained everything about how can you use Golang to make a Flutter plugin. And I was thinking about the teaching process again and again. And I start to realize that I probably couldn't be able to go back to before. Like, I will have to explain everything step by step for you guys. I guess that's almost impossible for us now, because as the time goes on and on, I start to feel the complexity of my project. You know, what I'm doing is far beyond the normal people understanding. So if I need to explain them in a very detailed way, the video length has to be it will at least 3 or 4 hours. That's something everyone do not want to say, because people just want to get the analogy for a quick way, for example 3 minutes or 5 minutes, right? So for the future, whenever I do this kind of tutorial, it has to be, or it will be, a short introduction about how can you do that, with the minimal explanations. Okay, but guys, don't worry, I will just link those detailed stuff as a post to my blog, so you could get into those information in a very accurate way and